Recorded Books presents The First Lady of World War II, Eleanor Roosevelt's Daring Journey to the Front Lines and Back, by Shannon Mckenna Schmidt. Narrated by Suzanne Toren. At the end of this program, listeners will find archival audio of Eleanor Roosevelt's speech in Wellington, New Zealand, in which she lays out strategies to ensure post-war peace. To travelers and trailblazers, and to all those who follow in the paths Eleanor paved. Prologue. Seated in the dark, freezing bomb bay of a heavily gunned U.S. Navy bomber, First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt finally arrived on Guadalcanal in the South Pacific in 1943. The island had been hard won by American-led forces earlier that year, wrested from Japan's control after a grueling 6-month fight. Eleanor determinedly stepped from the plane, ready to witness the wreckage of war. She emerged into the sunlight, enveloped in the tropical heat, to find a place of extremes. Thick mud in the rainy season, and now the climate so dry that the bluish-gray hue of her Red Cross uniform was soon obscured by clinging dust. Operating on little sleep, she had less than 24 hours to honor the fallen and to experience what servicemen's lives were like as they held guard in this strange, dangerous world where war had taken them. Eleanor had waged a determined personal campaign to visit Guadalcanal, surmounting the resistance of U.S. military commanders and of the commander-in-chief, who feared for her safety. Japanese soldiers were rumored to be hiding out on the far side of the island, and it was still a target of enemy air attacks. By the time Eleanor reached Guadalcanal, she had already traveled more than 17,000 miles during an arduous 5-week tour of the Pacific Theater. Now, a further test of endurance awaited the 58-year-old First Lady on the battle-scarred island. When Franklin D. Roosevelt won the presidential election in 1932, Eleanor was well established as a writer, educator, traveler, and political advocate. Although she supported her husband's desire to be president, she was fearful of having her identity absorbed into the customary role of First Lady. Traditionally, First Ladies were discreet figures in the presidential background, overseeing social functions and taking no active part in public life. She dreaded becoming a prisoner in the White House, with nothing to do except stand in line and receive visitors and preside over official dinners. So concerned was she about losing her independence, she considered divorcing Franklin rather than become First Lady. I had watched Mrs. Theodore Roosevelt and had seen what it meant to be the wife of a president, and I cannot say that I was pleased at the prospect, Eleanor admitted. Instead, she tossed tradition aside, as the nation, unaccustomed to First Ladies darting about, watched her with mingled admiration and alarm. Gas station attendants on the road between New York and Washington, D.C., kept an eye out for her famous blue roadster, while a man in Maine refused to believe she was the president's wife because she drove her own car. A couple from Atlanta telegrammed the president, demanding, "Mr. President, would you please suggest that Mrs. Roosevelt confine her duties more to the White House?" But it was outside the White House where Eleanor decided that she could best help her husband, by being his listening post. It was vital, she believed, for politicians, and especially the president, to keep in touch with public opinion, the moving force in a democracy. In the self-made role, which fueled her strong sense of social responsibility and satisfied her wanderlust, Eleanor ceaselessly crisscrossed the country,
Sample complete. Ready to continue?